In a small peaceful village surrounded by fields of golden wheat lived a young boy named Ayan, known not for his strength or wealth but for something far more precious, his heart. People often said his heart shone brighter than the morning sun, but Ayan never understood why. He simply lived the way he felt was right, helping others even when he had little himself. Ayan lived with his mother in a tiny mud house at the end of the village. They didn't have much, but they shared everything: food, joy, and even worries. His mother always told him one thing: Ayan, wealth may shine for a moment, but a good heart shines forever. Ayan carried these words with him every single day. One morning, while walking to school, Ayan saw an old man sitting under a tree, trembling from hunger. His clothes were torn, and his eyes held a sadness that pierced Ayan's soul. Without thinking, Ayan took out the only lunch he had, a small piece of bread his mother had saved for him, and handed it to the man. The old man hesitated. "But son, what about you?" he asked softly. Ayan smiled. "I'll be fine. You need it more than I do." The old man's eyes filled with tears, and he whispered, "Your heart is golden, child." Ayan didn't know what those words meant, but he felt warmth spread through him. Little did he know that this single act of kindness would start a chain of miracles. Days passed, and Ayan continued to spread kindness everywhere he went. He helped an injured bird learn to fly again. He stopped kids from teasing a younger boy. He shared his books with children who couldn't afford any. But the villagers never knew the full extent of his kindness because Ayan never told anyone. He simply believed that goodness done in silence was the purest form of goodness. One afternoon, as dark clouds covered the sky, the village was shaken by a sudden storm. The wind roared, the rain fell like stones, and people hurried indoors. Ayan, who had just left school, ran as fast as he could, but on the way, he heard a loud cry. It came from the river. Without hesitation, he ran toward the sound and saw a little girl clinging helplessly to a broken piece of wood, struggling in the rising water. Ayan didn't stop to think. He jumped into the raging river. The water was cold, strong, and unforgiving, but Ayan fought against the current. His heart pounded, but he kept going, guided by courage he didn't even know he had. With every ounce of strength, he reached the little girl and held her tightly. "Don't worry," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. "I won't let anything happen to you." He pushed through the stormy waves and somehow managed to pull her to the riverbank. By the time they reached safety, Ayan's legs were shaking, and his breath was shallow. Villagers who had followed the screams rushed to them, lifting the girl into her mother's arms. But Ayan, exhausted, collapsed onto the muddy ground. Everything went silent. His mother ran to him, her hands trembling as she touched his wet face. "Ayan, Ayan, open your eyes." Ayan slowly blinked. "Is she safe?" he whispered. "Yes, my son. Because of you," his mother said, tears mixing with the rain. Word of Ayan's bravery spread through the village like wildfire. But Ayan didn't care about praise. All he cared about was that the girl lived. That night, as Ayan lay in bed, weak but smiling, something extraordinary happened. A soft golden glow filled the room. Ayan's mother looked around in shock as the glow grew brighter. And then, from the light, emerged the same old man Ayan had once fed under the tree. But he no longer looked frail or hungry. He stood tall, shining like a beam of morning sunlight. Ayan stared in confusion. You're the same man from the tree." The man smiled gently. "Yes, Ayan, but I'm not who you thought. I am sent by the heavens to find hearts like yours, hearts that shine without asking for anything in return." Ayan's mother stepped closer, trembling. "Who are you?" "I am a guardian of goodness," the man replied. "And today, I came to bless this child, whose heart is purer than gold." He raised his hands, and a warm light flowed into Ayan's chest. Ayan felt no pain, only peace, like the soft touch of sunlight on a winter morning. "You risked your life for another," the guardian said. "You shared what little you had. You gave love without expecting anything back. Ayan, the world needs more hearts like yours." Ayan looked down at his chest, where a faint golden glow pulsed gently. "Why me?" "Because goodness chooses those who are genuine," the guardian said. "Never stop being who you are." With those final words, the guardian vanished, leaving the room bathed in gentle warmth. The next morning, Ayan woke up stronger than ever. The villagers came to visit, bringing gifts and blessings, but Ayan accepted them humbly. From that day on, he became a symbol of kindness, courage, and selflessness for generations. Parents told their children, "Be like Ayan. Let your heart shine like gold." But Ayan didn't change. He still helped quietly, smiled often, and lived simply. The golden glow inside his heart reminded him every day that even a small act of kindness can create miracles. And so, the boy with a golden heart continued to spread light wherever he went, teaching the world that true wealth lives not in what we have, but in how much love we are willing to give. Because hearts like Ayan's don't just shine, they change lives.